The Double tells the story of Simon James and how he meets his look-alike James Simon and the events that follow. The Double is certainly a well-constructed and well-put-together film, but at the same time, it has issues that I personally believe are hard to ignore. Now in this film, you get a kind of a study into Simon James' character, who's an introvert, who's extremely socially awkward, and wants to achieve a lot through the course of his life because he is genuinely intelligent. And then you have James Simon, who is the polar opposite character to his very look-alike Simon James, and how these two characters meet, they clash, they take advantage of the look-alike situation, and when it ultimately leads to a conflict is where I believe that the film's drama is at a high. And it's certainly commendable that both these characters were portrayed by the very same actor, Jesse Eisenberg, in what I believe is his best performance to date. And you really begin to observe Simon James wanting to live the life of James Simon. Simon James has had such a stalker mentality throughout his life. He really does not know his general way around perhaps talking to women or talking to people in general, or even his way at work and interacting with his peers, whereas James Simon is on top of that, and how James Simon takes advantage of this character who has a lost identity is definitely one of the central themes and most enjoyable parts of this film. And from a technical standpoint, the film is certainly an achievement. Director Richard Ayoade manages to construct such a dreamlike and haunting and yet mesmerizing world that I believe is certainly one of the central attractions of this film. And in addition to that, the musical score is one of the best I've heard all year without a doubt in my mind. It uses non-traditional instruments, in fact a typewriter at one point in time, to add to the musical score, and furthermore there's this bit of playfulness that it adds to this extremely bizarre and almost confusing situation, which really leads me to my next point, that I believe that the film actually took a bit too many liberties, in my personal opinion, since it is a visual treat and does have that bit of artsiness, if you will. It feels like it can take advantage of that and actually confuse you. There's a bit of a line that I think it stepped over. Rather than providing you enough information, it intentionally provides you very little of it, and the behavior of the society in general in this film was very off to me. It never came across as natural as compared to the genuine behavior of most of the other characters, thereby creating a bit of an imbalance through the course of this film. And it came across to me as all these visual elements ultimately are trying to mask the fact that the film is not exactly sure what it is trying to be at times, which made me a little disappointed considering how great the visuals actually were. Furthermore, I believe that the film really took a bit too much time before getting to the central plot. Of course, it is establishing its main character before really getting to the conflict of everything, which is essential for a film, of course, but I believe that there was a certain mark in this film after which they didn't need to give you more about the central character because we had understood everything that we needed to understand about him before we entered the genuine plot. And I can certainly acknowledge the fact that each act of the film is so heavily focused on something else that it could come across as jarring to some, but to me in this particular case actually almost blended well with the genuine chaos and confusion of the scenario that was on screen. The Double is certainly not a film for everyone. It's a film that appreciates the genuine art of filmmaking, but at the same time you get the impression that it's not exactly sure what it's trying to be. Despite what I believe are its glaring flaws, the film possesses so much to look forward to that I certainly recommend you watch the film, if for nothing else, the visuals, the musical score, and absolutely Jesse Eisenberg's greatest performance to date, and one of the greatest performances I have seen all year. I'm gonna give The Double a yes.